A Sensual Education, playing Prometheus. Art and music were crucial for Catherine's fire engine red nursery. But would she appreciate a book on the history of art? As if to know, before preschool, the difference between Monet and Monet. If she did, would she be bullied? Or reply, well, it's not all French to me. Her first book was People of the World. Look, we all have bones, but some place bones through noses. Henry James, someone perhaps, and bear with me, who may not have appreciated bones as a fashion accessory, was an American novelist with one foot in the 19th century and the other in 20th century modernism. He considered European capitals as models for a, quote, sensual education. Classrooms and nurseries can provide only a surface appreciation. Of course, Henry James had capital and no children. We had children and little capital. When I was a poor college student, I had money to travel and study in Europe. Since such experiences helped me and my wife, Mary Jane, with our PBC, perambulations before children, could a sensual education be provided in southern Jersey? Could I be a guide, a giver of light, of fire, and Mary Jane too, a pathfinder, an original settler? Playing Prometheus, that titan lover of humans and Greek forethought, did I know the challenges ahead? Well, these are my afterthought musings. The sensual education started with the bristles of my beard. When Catherine's tender face met my whiskers, she recoiled. Within minutes, my face was as smooth as a cherub's bum. Well, for 5 minutes. In the garden, I rubbed lavender under her nose, then mint, oregano, ambrosia, maybe manure, organic, of course. In the woods, Catherine heard the squawk of a blue jay, the caress of the western wind. There, she uttered her first sentence, "I got a stick," and then she clubbed me on the head with that stick. Our house also became an Athenian nightclub. Catherine danced, I danced, Mary Jane too. By then, our second daughter, Sarah, had arrived, who shook and danced in her baby prison, the pack and play, violently to the pounding beats. How did that contraption hold her? It didn't. Clothing Prometheus. One Sunday afternoon at the Philadelphia Art Museum, Catherine drew a picture of the gilded goddess Diana. However, she drew the symbol of the hunt with frilly clothes of purple and pink. She must be cold. Meanwhile, Sarah found swimming in fountains more sensual than the broad strokes of Van Gogh. By the end of the day, Mary Jane and I felt as if we had breaststroked between the Hellespont and the Dardanelles. Now, with 2 teen daughters, I was fashioning myself as Cerberus, or better, as I have one head and bad breath, the Kraken at the gate. Any potential suitor would need to supply a list of favorite books, references, a writing sample, stool sample. Rather than a romantic protagonist, I was now the classical antagonist, the boorish and prescriptive, although well-meaning, Polonius. Disrobing Prometheus. The S.E., Sensual Education, continued years later at the Grounds for Sculpture in Hamilton, New Jersey. A sign at the Park of a Million Breast read, "It was fine to touch the sculptures, to interact with the art." The canvas, now liberated to 3 cup sizes. We discovered 2 clothed men having lunch on the grass with a naked woman. By the shore, another woman, loosely adorned, was bent over by a near-sunken rowboat. The luncheon displayed metaphorical sex foods. Oysters, clams, avocados. "Excuse us," I told the sculptures. "We're just passing through." The display was based on Edward Manet's Le Génie sur Herbe, or those not prolific in Google French, The Luncheon on the Grass. The original 1863 hangs at the Orsay in Paris. "There's no difference between you and those 10-year-olds, my wife said. "We're from Mars, us males." Why were there so many naked women, Catherine wanted to know, out of equity, about the naked men? It's only fair. She wanted to paint a man nude. What happened to her clothed Diana? What had changed? Why object to such shenanigans? A Philistine rages against his image in the mirror of his own hypocrisy. I could just see my daughter, a modern-day Artemis or Pallas Athena, raising a bronze statue from the swelling of the ground, and no metaphorical member either, an obelisk or Doric column. Would anyone attend a park of a million pricks? This became an ongoing conversation. We saw men acting like boys. On one sculpture high on a hill, a woman rests on a sofa, fully naked, a true Brobdingnagian, her breasts 2 feet wide, bra size triple Z. A girl took a picture of her guy holding his hands over the woman's breasts. His mischievous grin reveals our primitive visual nature. Oh boy. By the new kitschy Forever Maryland statue, an Amazon of a model, 26 feet high, a woman asked, "She's wearing underwear, isn't she?" Her young children dance underneath Maryland's blowing white dress. Guys peek under and laugh. They think it's hilarious. The detail on the panties was sexy. And yes, we were objectifying an object. I have no issue about a popular park dedicated to popular art. Art this side of Goshen pedestrian on a beautiful July afternoon, gazing at numerous nudes or partially nude statues of women in various locales, small breasts, large breasts, white breasts, brown breasts, breasts with snakes. But what about the women in my life? Every day, they're bombarded with bodacious depictions of an idealized female. At least the women are natural looking, Sarah 13 said, normal proportions. Today, we will call, if you want to be nasty, the women in Renoir's various bather oil paintings fat. Back then, they were fleshy. Renoir wanted to celebrate the flesh, filling the canvas with flesh. My father-in-law agreed with me. A woman's breasts are very attractive. It's always been that way. Shaving Prometheus. The Sensual Education continued during a beautiful July afternoon in Philly at the Barnes Museum. The natural light was exquisite. Sarah asked about the Barnes. I said he was probably some third-generation spoiled toff from the main line. During the film production, however, we learned that Barnes was an impoverished lad from Philadelphia. He was bright and went on to study chemistry and made a fortune. Sarah looked at me. Just as I said, Sarah, a self-made man. An American success story. Yes, let that be a lesson to us all. To us all. I was overjoyed when Sarah recognized Gertrude Stein in the intro. That's the woman who helped Hemingway. Oh, and Picasso. I smiled, as if every 13-year-old knows about the lost generation. From room to room, we studied the art. And from room to room, more and more female flesh. What about the nudes at the grounds for sculpture? In an antiseptic academic environment, this museum did not provoke my objectifying libido. But what about the pubic hair? Catherine asked. These women have no pubic hair. The uncomfortable morphed into discombobulation. They probably shaved, I said. Maybe they waxed. An Amazonian, I think it's called. Well, at least Picasso has some pubic hair, she conceded. In one painting, a woman was fully naked, a Van Gogh or Picasso perhaps, and I was looking into the origin of the world, a woman's privates of most privy, fully depicted. It reminded me of a painting at the L'Origine du Monde, 1866 by Gustave Courbet at the Orsay in Paris. Whoa, 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 I said, walking away. What was it about sexuality amongst family members that makes me so digress? Is it the same idea of thinking of mom and dad getting funky on the shag carpet? Watching a heavy R-rated flick and shouting, "Cover your eyes," as I toss a throw pillow. And what would Henry James think? Did he have daughters besides his characters? He didn't. Sarah thought it was funny that the women in the pictures with the large bottoms had an actual wide chair placed just below them. She pointed out other insight clues and jokes from the Barnes exhibit. Imagine having your own art museum in your own house, Sarah said. The dizziness from art overload descended upon me like some pixelated mist. 2 hours in an art museum is about right for anyone. Is there anything more beautiful than the female form? More natural, balanced, but still. Beautiful women are the ones advertised meditating in white on the beach by the sea, not men, right? Instead of male artists depicting the female form, what if the world just had more female artists, showcasing the sensations that arise in them? I don't think I would need to confront a smorgasbord of dangling male genitalia. Are women more comfortable with the body, or maybe just numbed? Maybe no one really has a problem, so what's my hang-up? Leaving the barns, Catherine said she would start drawing nudes of men. Sarah chuckled. Did this whole sensual education thing have an unexpected outcome? Liberating Prometheus. It's the reason we stand on Concord Bridge and feel the stirring of a nation. Education comes from experience, and change because of the experience. Education comes from learning, not memorizing. Yoda, after all, never taught Luke to memorize anything. Viewing art from a textbook in a crib is a start. Listening to Debussy while sleeping in the bassinet is also kind of cool. But experience must be contextualized. It's the reason to visit Gettysburg. It's the reason we stand on Concord Bridge and feel the stirrings of a nation. It's the same reason we collect vinyl rather than relying on Spotify. It's the same reason the smell of a book, the feel and soul of a book, satisfies more than the ease of a LCD PDF. The works themselves are art. The place is rich in history, or as simple as a neighborhood park, a backyard birdhouse, all rich in sensuality. We sense the art with full senses. At a concert hall, the music penetrates to our core more than the joys in our own living room. Catherine and Sarah did well in school, in many cases in spite of school. They ventured outside the classroom. Art, shade, and light surround us in such simple ways. We just need to broaden our palette. As I tell everyone, if I had to rely on my education for my education, I'd be an idiot. Henry James would agree. And how about his brother William, the founder of modern psychology? Well, probably. Every parent and educator should lift the heart and mind to the portals of the soul, then let the child go forth as a spirit into the universe. Thank you.